Good morning and welcome to another starting lineup, 10:30, 11 o'clock every single Saturday morning here on ABC 3340. I am Tony Curry, and along with my good friend Kip Keefer, we got a lot to get into today. Of course, we've got the College Baseball World Series, we got NHL playoffs, we got NBA playoffs, we got US Open going on. Before we get into all those things, though, happy Father's Day. Father's Day is tomorrow. We'll talk about that in just a second. But how'd you do in the Belmont, Kip Keefer?
Oh, the Belmont went well. Of course, the Mother Nature was not very nice, dumping 2.5 inches of rain on Saratoga Springs, New York, in that 24-hour period. But the race itself didn't run till late in the evening, 7 o'clock local time there, and the rain had quit, so the track was fast for the Belmont. And once again, if you tuned into the starting lineup at the beginning of this Triple Crown season, we told you about Sovereignty. He was the horse. Journalism got all the press, all the hype, his unbelievable one in the Preakness, but Sovereignty showed him who was boss in the stretch again. Journalism ran to the lead. Sovereignty went right by him and won. The good news is we're liable to see these two match up again later in the year, particularly in the Travers Stakes at Saratoga, and maybe even in the Breeders' Cup Classic against the best older horses in the country in November. So still a lot to look forward to with these two superstars.
Journalism with a 1 and a 2 and a 2, so not too bad running. I mean, not so bad, but love to see these two horses get after it again. For your person who doesn't watch a lot of horse racing, we're all about making money on whatever we can gamble on, right? I mean, if the left bird flies off first and I make $5 on it, I'll watch it as a sport. It doesn't matter which bird it is. Give me another sport as far as part of the Sport of Kings that I could be watching. Breeders' Cup. Tell me some more sports races I can watch as far as in horse racing goes that I can make some cash on outside the big three.
Well, all the big three are great, but the Breeders' Cup you just mentioned, which happens over a 2-day period the first week of November, this year it will be at Del Mar, where the turf meets the surf. On one side of Pacific Highway, you've got Del Mar. On the other side, you've got the Pacific Ocean.
Nice.
So it is the most idyllic spot in the sport. And it's a series of races, 5 on Friday, 9 or 10 on Saturday, of all different divisions of the best horses in the world. And it's the other event where you've got a lot of casual money and a lot of interest, and that's the best time to jump on board when people are betting on people's names or who owns the horses. When you get casual money against money that is knowledgeable, the knowledgeable money has a lot of an advantage.
We'll talk some U.S. Open coming up in just a few seconds. I did want to ask you, though, you have a very special relationship with your two sons, as I do, as fathers, and of course tomorrow being Father's Day. And I know you had a relationship, obviously, with your dad, as I did as well. I wanted you to share a real quick story about your dad and the relationship you had with him and how sports played into that and how your two kids play into what you're doing now. Because you've been covering sports your entire life, but you get to do it with your kids. It's pretty cool.
My dad was an absolute sports fanatic. He grew up in Washington, D.C., his grandmother, or my grandmother, his mother, worked for the federal government for 35 years in the Department of Commerce. She was a career woman when there was no such thing. And my dad was taking me to Redskins games, and they were the Redskins back then, not the Commanders. Don't get me started on that. But I grew up in D.C. Stadium basically watching Sonny Jurgensen and Billy Kilmer and George Allen and the Over the Hill gang. It was a great place. I also learned how to read at the racetrack. My dad was at Pimlico or Laurel or Bowie every Saturday, and I was right in tow. He'd give me a hot dog and a racing form. I didn't learn to read by seeing C-Spot run. I learned to read by saying, this 7-horse can really run. So anyway, it was a great opportunity as a young kid. Later on in life, he kind of flew the coop early at a time when divorce wasn't very common. So in my book, I call him the great unfluence because a lot of the things that I learned through him was doing a lot of things the opposite way, because you can't put all the emphasis on yourself when you have children.
Sure.
You've got to put a lot of it and a lot of time and effort in there. But my dad, still was a very important person in my life, and I wish it could have gone longer, and there's some regrets there, but that's kind of my thoughts.
My dad could tell me about the old days about going down. He lived in Norwood, Ohio, along with his mom and his dad, and they were home with the white shoes and the white belts. In Norwood, they wore white shoes and white belts. Thank God that fad went out in the 70s. But he used to go down to Old Crosley Field, and there were holes in the fences. You could actually watch the game through the holes before, of course, They did the cookie cutter riverfront thing. And really never got a chance to go to a lot of ball games with my dad. He was a newspaper distributor for 37 years, the best dad a guy could have. But he would work all night. And of course, I'd see him at dinner time, maybe a little bit before homework, and then he'd be off to work again. But the relationship that I've got now with my other two kids, and my one son, Xavier, who you've probably seen on this show a couple times, loves basketball. My other son wants to get into sports management. He's going to Clemson. He's going to be a junior this year. And if he could just watch live sports all the time, 24 hours a day, and get paid for it, that would be his dream job, and that's what we're trying to create right there. But I love the fact that you've gone back and forth to Vegas. I know you and King have gone to some great hockey games.
Oh, yeah.
You've done some wonderful things.
Early, 4 years old.
And your sons both work in the sports arena.
They
Of
do.
course, Case, who's on the show every single week, is just fantastic, a chief editor at the Las Vegas Sun. So to have that to play off of has got to be cool.
Well, the first time Case covered a Super Bowl in his journalism career, he bet on himself. He moved to Vegas, and now he's the editor of the sports department for Greenspun Media and the Las Vegas Sun. The first Super Bowl, about a week later, I got a box of material, hats and shirts and stadium cups, and a card from him, which is my most valued possession, that said, "I know you weren't with me at the Super Bowl, but believe me, I felt like you were sitting next to me all the time, because the only reason that I'm here doing this is because you told me from day one this was possible." Nice. He said, "You believed in me, you can always encourage me," and that's the most significant moment probably of my life, reading that card.
That's a beautiful story. NHL looks like it's going 7 games. NBA we thought would go 4 or 5, and all of a sudden Indiana's playing out of their brains. Tyrese Halliburton's having a wonderful series there, and of course we got the College World Series. Only 2 SEC teams making it in Arkansas and LSU. A little surprised by that. 2 out of 8's not bad,
Shocked.
I guess.
Well, but we thought, there could be as many as 5 or 6, because going into the tournament, 7 of the SEC teams were in the top 10, and a lot of them fell by the wayside. Shockingly, a couple that you would not have expected.
7 of the top 8 at one point.
Yeah. So bottom line, just to get 2 is a little disappointing. But for all of those people that always kind of campaign on the underdog needs to have a chance, we've got, and one of them is probably a false underdog, but if you're not really knowledgeable, Coastal Carolina is in the World Series in Omaha. They won the whole thing 3 years ago, so they're not as big a dark horse as you'd think. But what about the Murray State Racers?
How about that?
That is a fantastic story. They went to Duke and knocked the Blue Devils out. So you've got a couple Cinderella stories, so it's going to be a very fun event.
It's up to Arkansas and LSU to get it done for the SEC. And also, of course, we've got Oakmont, the US Open going on this weekend. A lot of people loving watching it.
And I'll tell you what, it's a house of horrors for golfers. The rough is high, the course is tight, the greens are slick. It is one of the hardest courses to play. Don't be surprised if the winning score is only 3 or 4 under after all 4 rounds, because these guys have to grind big time at Oakmont. It's going to be fun to watch.
As hackers, we love to see that, because I actually feel like I can play with guys who are in the high grass and shooting bogeys every other hole. I love that. Fantastic show today. We're going to head out west and see Case. He'll give us some futures bets, and of course, I'm sure he'll have something for the US Open.
Big crowd in the Legend Cave today.
Big crowd in the Legend Cave. Make sure you stay tuned right here to the starting lineup.
The Birmingham Racecourse Casino, where a spin could turn dreams into reality. Meet Sammy F., who just won over $70,000. And Orlando P., hitting the jackpot with a whopping $100,000. Feel the thrill of winning and join the Dance of Champions.
Woo! I'm a winner! I'm a winner! Woo! I'm a winner! I'm a winner! Woo! And you can be a winner too!
Your chance to be the next big winner is here at the Birmingham Racecourse Casino.
Oh, welcome to the Legend Cave. We got breaking news right here. I got the Crimson Kool-Aid. I've been shook up all morning, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news right here. We have escaped convicts from the Sports Insanity Center over in Tuscaloosa and Auburn somewhere. They're running everywhere. I don't know what to do, ladies and gentlemen. Security, come in. There might be security now. Oh, Lord, it's one of the escaped convicts.
I'm invading.
Oh, my Lord, how'd you get out?
Good question.
This is Don, the famous Auburn Tiger fan. He's been in the insane asylum for 8 years following Auburn.
8 years?
He's went crazy, ladies and gentlemen.
8 years?
What are y'all going to do this year, Don?
10-2, going to the playoffs.
Security. Security. Get him out of here. That's security. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an inmate break. They're running crazy. College football fans have went crazy. They have a football insane. Who is that? PG, when'd you get out?
Man, I just escaped Alcatraz. I'm on the run. I'm incognito here. You see my glasses. I don't want to get caught, put back in there. I'm here to tell you how bad and how great the Gators are going to be this year.
He got it right the first time.
Boy, see, I'm all shook up. I'm like Elvis. I'm all shook up.
Well, let me ask you. I know you escaped from the college football insane asylum, but let me ask you, how are the Florida Gators going to do this year? Are they going to put you back in?
We're going 10-2. Mark that word. Sunbelt Billy's bringing them back.
Sunbelt Billy.
And if he doesn't this year, he's gone. You know, we've got the best quarterback. We got a heck of an offense. It's going to score like Spurrier scored back in his 90s. I'm telling you, this team is already picked by Phil Steele at number 10, and it's just going to go up and up. The first two games are easy. Next one's LSU, and we'll beat the Corn Dogs down there. And then our schedule's a little top-heavy at the begin with, but after that, it's coasting, baby.
Let me ask you something right quick. Can you beat Alabama?
We don't even play Alabama, but we could. We beat you in about
Security!
every sport.
Security!
We beat you in every sport.
There he goes. There he's going. Ladies and gentlemen, we got escaped convicts running everywhere. The college football insane asylum has just the gates have broke down this morning. Here in the Legend Cave, I had to hide the bear. Oh, here comes Don again. Where is security? Don.
What?
How's Aubrey going to do? Tell they're coming for you, brother. How's Aubrey going? Get over here. Get over here.
We're going to be 10-2, and we're going to beat Alabama in November.
Security! Security!
Oh, here I go again.
There it comes. There they go. They got them all ranged up, ladies and gentlemen. I'm having to call security. The Legend Cave has been invaded. Oh, Lord, here comes PG back again. He done got away again. Tell them about DJ Lagway.
Tell you what, he didn't throw in the spring game. He kept his arm, he had a little arm problems, shoulder problems, but now he's pumping, throwing 50 times a day. He said he is just hitting every target. And that, them receivers, remember a guy named Wilson? You know, Dallas, he's number 6. He's going to be the next, what's his name? Doggone it.
Security! He's lost his mind again! Security! That's the way we do it here in the Legend Cave, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, here comes Don again. He done got away again. Don, what do you think about the Auburn Tigers baseball team? Ha ha!
Well, where was Alabama in
That's
the
right.
baseball?
Security! Get him! Put him in the cave! Put him in the lockup this time! Get him out of here, ladies and gentlemen. That's PG, the greatest Florida fan. That's Don. I got to get some of this Crimson Kool-Aid in me. I tell you, they got convicts running everywhere in college football, but only one king, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all know who it is. That's the Alabama Crimson Tide. Yes, Las Vegas has us as the 4th best team in the nation. They don't put us in the crazy house because we run college football, ladies and gentlemen. Here come PG and Don. Got away again.
That was Percy Harvin. I made a mistake. Couldn't think of it right there. That's who he's going to be.
Security!
No, I ain't finished.
Get him out of here. That's right. Don't mention Tebow or Percy Harvin in the Legend Cave. The inmates are running everywhere. College football season is upon us. I don't know what to do. Here comes Don again. Don escaped again.
Remember this name. Speaking of wide receivers, Eric Singleton, Cam Coleman. Remember that name? War Damn Eagle legend.
War Damn Eagle. Security! Take him out of here. I don't know how these guys keep escaping. I done lost my microphone. I got the Crimson Kool-Aid. We're going crazy in the cave. Bears all upset. It's went mad. College football is now 9 weeks away. Are you excited? Are you excited? I am, ladies and gentlemen. Come on in, ladies and gentlemen. Come on in. These guys right here. I told the security to leave them alone. These are great friends of mine. See, ladies and gentlemen, you can cheer for different teams and still be great friends. Absolutely. Except for Auburn. Security, get him out of here. You can be great friends, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, we want to remember Larry from Shelby. You got something you want to say?
Yes, we're a shout out to Larry from Shelby and also Charles from Reeltown.
Yeah, they passed away, the great Feinbaum callers that passed away this past week. We want to remember them. Larry's being honored up in Leeds next Saturday. We want to remember Charles from Reeltown. The sports fans in Birmingham, Alabama are the greatest in the whole world, ladies and gentlemen. Come on back in, release Don. Don, coming on back in.
We're one big happy family.
We even love Auburn fans every now and then. Ladies and gentlemen, remember it's just a game. Don't be like Pelham Gator Don in the Legend. Sports Insane.
Welcome back. We got some great sponsors. We'll take care of Kai Gregory. Of course, he's on with us at K4wins.com. It's a great, it's a gambling site. It's a site, get all your plays. It's absolutely free. You can also subscribe and get some great writings from Kip, Keefer, and the rest of us. But Kai Gregory from Southern Precision Staffing, great staffing company here. If you're into the skill work, you're into welding, you're into construction work, this is the place for you. They can help you out, fill you up big time. SPS, Southern Precision Staffing, 205-682-2828, 205-682-2828, where your word and your handshake still means something. They're centered right here in Hoover, Alabama. They serve the United States of America, just like the starting lineup does every single Saturday morning. Also, the Woodhouse Day Spa, our good friends, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Check them out if you want a good rub down. Check out Stuart Jerome. He'll be joining us here in the studio a little bit later on as we get closer to, of course, showtime in college football land. And, of course, we've got some great things going on with our great friends at Sasquatch Toys and Comics right there, Citation Lane in Homewood. Thanks to all of our great sponsors for making that happen. We have been on fire on K4 Wins. I don't know if we've had a losing week since maybe the last or second to third weekend in college football, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been insane. It's been fantastic. But we've been on fire, my friend.
Yeah, we just found out from the aforementioned Kai Gregory that K4 Wins just hit their 500th successful bet this week.
How about that?
The record's something in the neighborhood of 500 and like 220 or 230. So the percentage is overwhelming.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, "Are you for real? Are you serious? Where
It's
have you guys
all documented every day.
We've been doing the show for nearly a year now. We do 6 or 7 plays every single day, and it's all documented. It's all documented. You go back and listen to our shows. You can listen to Keefer and Curry, K4 Wins on Tony Curry Radio, wherever you watch us right here. We put all our lines out there. You can see how we do every single day.
And this is against the spread. We're just not picking the winner.
No.
It's not college game day. Oh, yeah. Well, I like Ohio State over Purdue.
Sure.
Well, great, Kirk. Good. Thanks for that information. Do you like Purdue plus 30? That's what we do. We tell you how to bet the game based on what's reality, not just who's going to win.
And we'll tell you why. Well, I just have a feeling. That Ohio State's going to get it done this weekend. Well, why do you have that feeling? I don't know. It's just going to, no, I told you so. It doesn't work that way. So check out K4wins.com, K4wins.com. You're in the starting lineup.
Hey, it's Case Keefer back again for another edition of the Vegas Heaters. I'm a longtime sports bettor, sports betting writer, and assistant sports editor for Greenspun Media Group, which includes Las Vegas Sun and Las Vegas Weekly. A lot of betting, totally immersed in that world. We'll also have some other responsibilities with my job this week, coming straight to you from off the practice field at Raiders headquarters here in Henderson, Nevada, where it's mandatory minicamp all around the NFL this week. It's kind of got my gears turning, making me think maybe we should be covering a little more football in this segment. I certainly have the spreadsheets up, looking at all the data from last year, trying to firm up my numbers going into the year, so that will come. But for right now, we're on a roll, so I think I'm going to keep with the 3 other sports we've been covering, well, at least 2 of the other sports. We've been working towards this moment for a long time in golf, of course, with the US Open. I'm recording slightly before tee times begin at Oakmont in Pittsburgh. I know there's already 2 rounds in the book by now, but basically rooting for the guys we've given out over the last month and a half on the show. I believe that's Tommy Fleetwood, Patrick Cantlay, Colin Morikawa, Bryson DeChambeau, and Scotty Scheffler. A bullet next to those last 2 names because if you were listening to the show, hopefully you followed me. I gave out Bryson DeChambeau at 13-1 and Scotty Scheffler at plus 550 over the last few months. They are closing at more than double that. Scotty as low as plus 250, Bryson more 7-1. So look, maybe they don't win, but if you want to be a successful long-term gambler, these are the type of bets that you need to make. If you're beating the close by that much, it's going to be good. So hopefully those guys come through for me. I'm going to have another sport to kind of take its place as a third bonus one here at the end. A trivia question for you. I actually just saw it randomly scrolling Instagram. I got it immediately, probably because I had bet this team this week, but I placed a future this week, a long time away, but it is on a team, the only team in pro American professional sports whose nickname ends with a vowel. So think that one over. You got about 3 minutes here, and I'll tell you who it is at the end and why I bet them. Let's start with NASCAR, where we did not come through with a winner last week in Michigan. I believe I broke down either 5 or 6 races so far in the Cup Series on this segment, and we've hit 2 outright winners, 2 out of 5, 2 out of 6, whatever it is, we'll take that every time. It has been a profitable NASCAR year, especially on the show, and I think we have a really good chance to hit outright number 3 this week in an all-new event, a road course in Mexico City, where if you look at the odds, Shane Van Gisbergen, who has been by far the best street race driver in NASCAR the last couple of years, won I think 3 times, just been dominant, kind of a phenom ever since he's come. He's as low as 3-1 plus 350. I love that because I think that is way too low. Like I said, new race, we don't really know how everything is going to work here. I think there's more uncertainty than the odds imply. So I'm looking to beat him, and I am going to start my card with the two next guys that I think have maybe been the best road course drivers in the next-gen car era. First, it's a guy you've heard me talk about a lot probably on the show. We've picked him a couple other times this year. He hasn't come through, but I think he's so close, and this place sets up great for him. So talented, a road course driver in his own right. That is Tyler Reddick at 9-1. If I had to bet one, it would be him, but I'm going to go ahead and pair him with more of a veteran, more of a proven guy on these type of tracks, A.J. Allmendinger at 16-1. So Allmendinger, Reddick, that's who I'm rolling with primarily in Mexico. We're trying to beat SVG. Let's see if we can get outright number 3 this year in NASCAR. Next, going all the way from the oval to the octagon. I know it might not be the most popular sport with the viewing audience, but I've just been crushing mixed martial arts and the UFC this year. I think now it's even overtaking golf as my highest ROI sport for the 2025 calendar year. We're 4-0. We improved to last week on the show in Vegas Heaters on the UFC. We had Kayla Harrison inside the distance against Juliana Pena to win her first UFC championship out. Wasn't even really a sweat. She won in the second round, so that was nice to see. And I said I was really bugging me last week going into UFC 316. I like the favorite so much. I think things turn, and what's kind of a local card down there tonight, UFC Atlanta at State Farm Arena. I like a lot of the underdogs, and that includes the underdogs in each of the top 2 fights. No, I wouldn't say just outright if I just had to pick. I'm not going to say Kamaru Usman upsets Joaquin Buckley, or even Rose Namajunas goes down to her opponent Miranda Maverick, but both of them are over 2-1. That is just too much for me. This is a numbers game at the end of the day. This is all about probabilities. So I bet a little bit on both Miranda Maverick at plus 220 and Kamaru Usman. I believe I got plus 235, the former great welterweight champion, arguably probably the second best welterweight champion in UFC history. Maybe he could have one last gasp. I do think Buckley does have some flaws, as exciting as he's been. And Rose Namajunas, I mean, she's up and down. You never know what to expect from her. So better than 2-1 on both of those fighters. I'd say like a half unit on those because I don't want to go too crazy and risk that perfect record, but a couple bets I like a lot more. Edmund Shabazian to win by knockout at plus 155. If you like him against Andre Petrosky, I think you got to like it by knockout. So plus 155, give me the big price there. And then we will go one favorite because all 4 of those earlier ones were favorites. I'm going with Jose Ochoa at minus 175 against Cody Durden, who I know local Atlanta guy is going to have a big crowd, but this just looks like one guy's on the way out and one guy is on the rise. So give me Ochoa minus 175. Finally, lastly, I got to pay off that trivia question. The only team whose mascot ends in a vowel, the Colorado Avalanche. Give me them to win the 2026 Stanley Cup at 12-1. It's really a season of upheaval, a lot of trades this year, but I think it all came together by the end of the year. We saw them losing 7 games to Dallas. I think they're going to be in a great spot going into next year. Colorado Avalanche 12-1, getting ahead of it, a year ahead of it. Thanks for checking in on the Vegas Heaters as always.
Starting a lineup every Saturday morning, 10:30, 11 o'clock, right here on ABC 3340. I'm Tony Curry, Kip Keefer. Something else happening. We bring it up almost every single week, but it looks like it's finally closing some closure in the House versus NCAA, or whoever, NCAA versus House. Or anyway, people are getting paid now. And of course, we've had kind of a stodgy little judge up there too that kind of wanted to.
She took forever.
I don't want to do things her way as well.
Both sides were arguing for the settlement in court, and she couldn't decide. So they were on the same side.
And like you said, we do have a settlement here, but we really haven't settled anything yet. Talk a little bit about it. I know a lot of college fans are happy. I saw some swimmers today coming out saying, "Oh, we're finally going to get paid." I was like, "Do you really think that you're going to be doing the backstroke and making $50,000?
No revenue whatsoever." It's not really. It makes no sense, this whole attitude that everybody should be paid for being a college athlete. Now, the big revenue-producing sports, football and basketball, those participants that are generating millions and millions of dollars, not only for their institutions, the conferences, and the NCAA, who does absolutely nothing except gets in trouble. Basically, those people are justified to be compensated. I'm not anti anybody being rewarded financially, but these non-revenue producing sports, it's really a stretch to expect that they need to be included in this deal.
There has to be an oversight committee, and the NCAA has been that. I remember doing sports radio back in the 80s and 90s, and they'd say, "Oh my gosh, there was a plane with NCAA in the back of it. They're visiting Alabama. They're in trouble." And next thing you know, there was probation. It would go on for years. I mean, it was the worst when IRS, 60 Minutes, or the NCAA showed up at your door. You knew you were screwed.
Yeah.
The NCAA does not have that bite anymore.
They are
toothless. They have no teeth. But we have to have somebody oversee something before the Wild Wild West becomes the Wild 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 West. And I mean, I don't know if that means Nick Saban is a commissioner and they create something. I know you mentioned Greg Sankey played golf with who?
Well, Greg Sankey last Sunday teed it up with the President of the United States, Donald Trump. So they're working it from a big level because here's the thing. The House versus NCAA settlement is solved. There's going to be big payoffs to all those litigants, and there's a couple thousand of them, former athletes. But that opens the door for more suits. Yep. So it's this one's settled, but they're counting on, and it's ironic, House versus NCAA. Now they're counting on the House and the Senate to write a bill that gives them antitrust protection to keep others from suing them for having a set of rules. And, you know, let's face it, what does Congress agree on ever? I just think it's a fool's errand to keep going up to Washington with their hat in their hand. I don't think Congress is going to do anything for them. So what have we really accomplished?
No, and you bring up a great point. And now the little guys. I mean, unless you're part of the autonomous four, or let's just be honest, it's the SEC and the Big Ten.
Yeah,
it's the SEC and the Big Ten. And let's even make it smaller. The SEC. The SEC is running the show right now. Period. Greg Sankey is the king of college sports right now. But the likes of the Murray States, the Coastal Carolinas, the UABs, those smaller schools who aren't getting $22 million every single year from this brand new payout through this thing, so they don't have to pay. People are wondering how they're going to pay. The NCAA doles out this money at the end of every year. Now all of a sudden they're going to say, well, in lieu of this thing we have, the membership or whatever it is of the last 10 years, all these players that should have been paid, you're not going to get as much as you used to get. When you used to get a $400,000 check, now maybe $43,000. Good luck using that money. We've come a long way from not being able to put cream cheese on a cracker, and all of a sudden, it's just the Wild Wild West as it is.
Well, we're getting close enough to the season now. I just want to forget all this nonsense. Start focusing on Saturdays down south. The greatest spectacle in the world is being at a game, watching your team come out of the tunnel, come on the field, all the excitement, all the pageantry. College football at its core is still college football, and I'm going to set all of this litigation and nonsense aside until somebody comes up with a viable solution. I'm going to focus on what's important, those games on Saturday.
Now, if we can get this executive order to get these knucklehead ticket brokers out there to cut down on their prices a little bit.
Their fees.
I'm tired. I mean, I got some good friends of ours that run ATICs. They do a top-line job. But some of these other companies where they're charging you $700 for a ticket, by the time you check out, it's over $1,000. I remember 10, 15 years ago, and I don't want to be that get off my lawn kind of guy, but I used to be able to take my son to a Florida-Alabama game for $75.
Yeah, that's
now it's $750. We're only talking 10 years ago, so I mean, something's got to give there. Yeah, someone's going to pay the price for all of these settlements and all these NCAA court appearances, and it's going to be us. We're the ones that are going to be getting bent over it.
Always.
So something just to think about right here on the starting lineup. We're going to get after it again next Saturday morning, 10:30, 11 o'clock. It's going to be fantastic. We're inside 90 days to the NFL and college football right here.
Wait.
It's going to be fantastic. We'll be here before you know it. Happy summer from the starting lineup.